Good morning.
Okay, we're starting.
Good morning. We are starting. I'm gonna bang my gavel once because they're not listening. We have a big agenda today, so I'd like to get started on time. Welcome. There's a lot of new faces and I appreciate every one of you. What I have not yet done, but will do when we send out news is give you all my phone number. And anybody who wants to call and chat can call and chat. I'm happy with that. My phone number and my email I'll make available to you. Diane Greenhouse is wanting to share food for thought this morning. Oh, you need the microphone now.
You have another mic?
Yeah, but it's a little sketchy. Good morning, everyone. Terrible things are happening outside. Poor people are being dragged out of their homes. Families are torn apart. Men, women, and children are separating. Children come home from school to find that their parents have disappeared. January 13th, 1943, an excerpt from the diary of Anne Frank. Thank you. Would someone like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I would love to do that. That's my favorite thing to do. As able, would you please stand for the pledge? Ready, begin. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh my God, Kaya.
We now have Justin. Do you want to introduce Justin Merino?
Our guest speaker this morning is Justin Merino, who's an Army vet, I believe, and a firefighter and an EMT. And he works at the Boys and Girls Club, and he's on the board at Morongo Basin Unity Home with me. And I'm going to let him explain his fire-related organizations because they are many, and I don't know the details very well.
Anyway.
No.
Not there. Yeah, not where it is at. Good morning, everyone. My name is Justin Merino, and I was invited here today to talk about a really specific program called Firewise. But I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and then we'll get into the latter part of what Firewise is. Thank you for the intro. Can you guys, everyone hear me? Yeah, wonderful. So I run the Fire Safe Council for the High Desert. Fire Safe Council is a nonprofit. It's part of the Inland Empire Fire Safe Alliance, which covers obviously the Inland Empire. If you didn't know, the Inland Empire goes all the way from Rancho all the way out there. So when I was told one day 5 years ago that I lived in the Inland Empire, I said, no, I live in the Morongo Basin and Johnson Valley. And they're like, no, that's the Inland Empire. I am now the vice president of the Inland Empire Fire Safe Alliance. So I oversee the Inland Empire area and specifically the desert region. If you're curious, our office is in Yucca Valley. We're wide at Highway 62 and 247 in between Star Market and Yucca Kebab. So we have the brick and mortar that you're always welcome to come into for any kind of information. So I believe Paula got my information from Pioneer Town folks about Firewise. About a year ago, I did a talk, not similar to this one, because that was a long community talk. But we went up there to pitch to them to become a Firewise recognized community. Basically what that means is it's a commitment by the homeowners to do ABC to get a recognition for their area. They get a recognition from Firewise USA, which equates to discounts on your insurance and of course protecting your home. So I know the insurance part, I can see your eyebrows lifted because I was looking at you. So maybe some other people's ears perked up. So that's always part of the most interesting point to get people's attention to what Firewise is. Firewise is called Firewise USA. By the way, if you're gonna go look it up, it's one word, Firewise. It started in 1999. It's a national movement by the National Fire Protection Association. And the state is recognized by CAL FIRE, by the California Department of Insurance, the US Forest Service. And again, I'm gonna make it sound like it's the easiest thing in the world, just to get you interested, of course. Because if you go online and Google it, it's gonna look like the scariest program in the world with a ton of application forms and something that's not achievable. It's quite the opposite. As I said, about a year ago, I did this talk in Pioneer Town. The groups up there, they created an ad hoc committee for Firewise, and 13 months later, they're ready to apply for their recognition. Didn't take them 13 months, by the way, so that's not a knock to them. It just took them a little bit of time to get themselves organized, to create their boundary and actually come up with a plan. So the key word, a plan. Firewise USA is a plan for your community. And it's a commitment to do things in this area that you are gonna create. It's a minimum of 4 homes. And it has to have a general boundary area, so you can't do one home in 29, one in Joshua Tree, one in Johnsonville. So it needs to have some sort of, you know, if you're looking at a map, you need to be able to circle the area that you're doing it. There's no cost to become Firewise. And so I said it's gonna sound super complicated. I don't want to dumb the program down by any means. As you all good folks know, there's plenty of loopholes in life. So if you wanted to, you know, go skirt around actually doing the work, and, you know, not actually following through to the commitments, you could do that. However, the idea of Firewise is to protect your home, protect your neighbor's home, reduce your insurance. So even though that your commitment to the Firewise program is just that, a commitment, I stress it so that folks don't abandon the idea and take a year to do it. So I have these notes here to keep me on track so that I don't go off the deep end here. I'm gonna start with insurance, because insurance is the big, yes.
We're gonna cover this, but like in our neighborhood, we're surrounded by Airbnbs.
Yes,
So how does that work?
how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, like if you decide to do it and nobody owns, nobody lives in the homes around.
Okay, so her question, if you didn't hear, is, you know, what happens if you have Airbnbs or you have folks that don't want to participate? So when you create this minimum of 4 homes and you create a boundary, I'll use Johnson Valley where I live. It's very, you know, I live in a very unpopulated area. In the little cove that I live in, which borders Landers and Johnson Valley. I would say I'm the last house in Johnson Valley, the first house in Landers. I'm the very last house on Quail Bush, so now you guys all know where I live. So I have about 4 neighbors that are in this little pocket here, and if I zoom out a little bit, there's probably about 30 of us total. If I went and knocked on all 30 doors, I'm sure that not everyone would be interested in participating. You don't need a buy-in from all your neighbors. So it's a great question, and it's, again, gonna dumb down the program in a way to get you to buy in to do it. If you have 30 homes in your area and you circle and you say, this is our boundary, and you get 10 people to participate, by the way, you only need a minimum of 4. Your neighbors automatically benefit from all the work that you're gonna do. So, of course, you want the buy-in, you want your neighbors. As I was talking to someone back there, property doesn't respect boundary lines. I think that was, sorry, fire, thank you very much. Fire doesn't respect property lines, or partisan lines. So, no matter who your neighbor is, that's the plus and minus of it. So I don't wanna harp on the Airbnb owners. Some of them are absent, some of them are present. Hopefully you could get in touch with them and get them to buy into it. Does that answer your question? Okay, so the insurance part, I'll start with all the good stuff, the benefits of becoming Firewise, and then we'll work backwards to what Firewise is. Does anyone know what the California Title 10 is for insurance? No? Does anyone know what the Safer Homes is for insurance? No? Wonderful. That's because they don't actually mail these things out to your home to tell you what's available. So becoming a Firewise community entitles you to a discount on your insurance. What it doesn't entitle you to is to go walk into your insurance office and say, where's my discount of 10%? There's not, in California with the Department of Insurance, the way that it works, I believe in, telling you guys, just oversharing and being very transparent. What the law says about your discounts is that when your insurer rates your plan, they have to take into consideration that your home is in a Firewise community. That doesn't mean that you get a certain percentage. Now, they do have to provide you with a discount. However, I always get asked, where's my 10? I went in and they gave me a $300 discount. I went in, they gave me a $16 discount. I went in, they gave me an $800 discount. There is no set minimum discount percentage per se of what the state requires insurers, but they do require them to rate your house if it's in a Firewise community. It gets a little complicated, and I hope I'm not talking you out of becoming a Firewise community. That is because San Bernardino County, last year, we as the Inland Empire Fire Safe Alliance, if you guys were keeping track of press releases and stuff that comes out of County Fire, as well as Supervisor Rao's office, they were advertising that San Bernardino County became part of the Fire Risk Reduction Community List, known as the FRRCL. The Fire Risk Reduction Community List is a list that CAL FIRE creates of communities, counties, cities, and local fire departments that meet certain criteria in the state of California. If you're on this list, you're also entitled to a discount. You don't get two discounts, by the way. So you don't get to go to your insurance discount, your office, and say, we're on the reduction list and we're a Firewise. So what does that mean to you good folks? It means that today you could all go home and you could all call your insurance agents and tell them, we are on the Fire Risk Reduction Community List and I'd like my discount. What they're gonna do is you're probably gonna have a long back and forth with your agents. And this is where we work, the Inland Empire Fire Safe Alliance, with the state, with the Department of Insurance. Gosh, I'm gonna butcher the senator's name, Rosalia Ochabog. Did I get that right? Oh, okay. So we work with we were working with Senator Shannon Grove's office temporarily, because a lot of times the insurance companies, A, don't recognize it, B, they don't know what you're talking about. Ignorance is bliss, and there is no letters, documents, etc. from the county saying that this property is on this fire risk reduction list. There is a document, if you guys can Google it. It's linked on our website, of course. It's from CAL FIRE, which is known as the Department of Forestry. And it says San Bernardino County Fire District is on this list. Now, I don't know if anyone here is from Morongo Valley. I know you are. So I mentioned Morongo Valley too. Okay, so Morongo Valley has its own fire department and its own CSD. I spend a lot of time doing work in Morongo Valley because you guys are not on the list. So the county of San Bernardino did not apply to be on the list. The fire district did. So the folks in Morongo Valley, I work with you guys and your fire chief and we're working on other programs. If you're in the other parts of the Morongo Basin, that county fire is your agency, you're on this list, you can ask your insurers for a discount. Yes?
You're saying we're already higher ones?
Yeah, so there are two different programs and two different discounts. So yes, you are already on the Fire Risk Reduction Community List.
Having done nothing.
Having done nothing. Well, you having done nothing as a homeowner. So to get on the list, the county fire department has to meet, and you can look at the application, it's on the same spot, that list that the county is on this list. You can see the application and how the county applied to be on this list. Again, it could have been a county, it could have been a city, a local fire department. They applied as the entire fire department. So I know I'm the worst salesman for Firewise, by the way. So I'm letting you know that you're already on the fire risk reduction community list as a community. But you bring up a good point. That does not mean that you've done any work to your home, to your community. So, but I'm just giving you all the good news first. So you're already on the list for that. Good luck trying to get the discount. If you have any problems getting the discount, you can reach our office. And when I'll get to you in one quick second, you can also reach out to the senator's office, or you could open a ticket with the Department of Insurance. And they will sort of, I say, broker with your agent and let them know that they do have to provide the discount.
So,
Right.
if I understand you
Can we
correctly,
save our questions for the end so we can leave others?
say what,
Can we save our questions for the end?
my wife already started.
I know. I'd like to just continue the practice so you can.
You take it out on me.
Yeah.
All right, I'll wait, I can wait.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll get through this real quick, I promise, folks, and then I'll answer all your questions. So what I passed out to you good folks, if you didn't grab one already at the front, are 2 brochures. And I'm gonna grab yours so I can use them. So pass these 2 out. One is about defensible space, also known as D-space, and the other here is about home hardening. These are 2 things that you're gonna hear a lot about becoming Firewise. And it's also now in every newspaper, every website, every newsletter, press release that comes out of our governor's office, everyone's talking about defensible space. So when you look at those LA fires and you're like, how did that house is still standing and the one next to it's not? 9 times out of 10, that home had defensible space. Defensible space you can think of as a buffer around your home. It's broken down. If you look inside the one that has the green bar, you'll see here that it's broken down into zone 0, zone 1, and the entire property. Zone 0 is 0 to 5 feet. Zone 1 is 5 to 30, and your entire property is 5 to 100. Zone 0 is a new zone that is going to be enforced. The governor just put, after the LA fires, about $45 million into zone 0 education so that you guys don't have a freak out when we come out and do assessments and inspections at your house and you start to get written up for having zone 0 deficiencies. What is zone 0? Zone 0 is 0 to 5 feet out from your house. This law was passed a very long time ago, almost about 8 to 10 years ago. However, the Board of Forestry, aka CAL FIRE, has respectfully drug their feet in enforcing it because they're still trying to figure out how do we go and enforce homeowners to clear around their homes 0 to 5 feet. And what does that mean to each homeowner? Does that mean you have to pull out your succulent? Does that mean you have to tear down a tree? What happens? So it's a very controversial piece of legislation. However, it's happening. So currently, what is planned for in 26, our existing homes are going to be, it's going to be enforced zone 0. This year, new home builds, zone 0 is being enforced. What they want to see around your house, so it's the edge of your roof line, 5 feet out. By the way, don't eye dagger me. They want to see gravel. They want to see hardscape. This is what they want to see, 0 to 5 feet. Hard to digest, but, and it's also, I believe, by the way, this is just my own personal opinion. I don't represent any agency. I think it's probably going to end up being a regional sort of enforcement. If you're in a wooded area in Northern California versus the desert, I believe different units are going to enforce it in different ways. We currently do assessments and inspections. The difference between the two, an assessment is educational and it's purely to let you know what the deficiencies are so that you can take that information and do what you want with it. An inspection is different. An inspection is, exactly what it sounds like. It's punitive. We don't do a lot of inspections. We don't believe in the punitive side, and typically, the inspections that we do are for people that are selling their homes. back to D-space though, and home hardening, because those are all the, requirements to become Firewise. So your 0, your zone 1, and your zone 2, these are the areas that you are going to make a commitment to at your home and all the homes in the boundary, to work on. So you guys will do a mitigation, whether it's a 2-year, 3-year, 5-year plan. And you guys get to decide in your community what is important to you. Are you gonna work on zone 0? Are you gonna work on zone 1? It doesn't have to be a long list of 30 things to get Firewise. They should be attainable goals, they should be realistic, and it should be something that the community buys into. I know up in Pioneer Town, for their boundary and the work that they're doing, I know that they have a goal to reach like 400 hours of work. I know that they put the ad hoc committee, see Steve back there. And they've created a Facebook group, a website. I know that they already started putting videos up. If you guys are on Facebook, it's Pioneer Town Firewise Community. Yeah, okay. So you can take a look at their Facebook. It's nice to see another community in the Morongo Basin as a reference point. In the larger Inland Empire area, we have about 30 Firewise sites. There's 15 of them that are in progress. If you go to fireinformation.com, there's a whole list of all the Firewise communities with links out to theirs. So I'm not gonna spend too much time kind of going over what's in the pamphlets. That's why I passed them out. The other one is home hardening. Home hardening is challenging. Home hardening is windows, roofs, all the stuff that costs a lot of money. I don't need to tell anyone how much it costs to replace windows at someone's house. However, there are certain things that you can do for home hardening that aren't a lot of money, like the grates on your house. Attic vents, making sure that the mesh on them is 1/8 of an inch, so that embers don't go in there. Quick question, how do you think that how do you think that wildfires jump from house to house? How do houses burn?
Embers.
Embers, someone answered it for you, so embers. So I'm gonna say luckily, so it's right in there. The timing of the LA fires and me coming out and speaking to groups is always coincides with disasters. So obviously what's happened in LA is been terrible, but it gets people's attention. And I say it in the sense that you've also had an opportunity to watch a lot of media coverage of those fires. And so someone said embers, so Embercast. Maybe 6 months ago, I would have been doing this talk and people would have been like, what? And I just showed them a video of what Embercast is. What is your name? Liz? Liz. So Liz and I were talking in the back and she told me that, what are you doing currently at your house?
Cleaning up the last of the leaves, and I'm gonna go along the fence line and pick the neighbors' weeds that are dead because they're out of town.
I don't know Liz, I just met her a little bit ago, she wasn't paid to say that. But that is exactly what you should be doing, that is the commitment for Firewise. And those are sort of the basics that you can do around your home. So going on top of your roof, making sure that there's no collection of leaves, going to your neighbor's property with their permission, making sure that your roof, does anyone know what a Class A roof is? No, does anyone? Fireproof, so fireproof roof, so basically anything but wood shingles would be a Class A roof. Again, making sure that the vents on your house have this mesh on them. It's a very inexpensive product to order online, Home Depot. Your zone 0 as well. I don't ever tell folks just go rip everything out. If you want to go rip everything out, that's up to you, but moving things away from your zone 0, barbecues, lawn furniture. Some folks are saying, I don't want to move my lawn furniture, I don't want to move my barbecue. So I always work with folks to work backwards. So Let's say it's a high fire, red flag warning, or there's another fire in the area, then you can move stuff if that makes you feel better. So, it's not an all or nothing, sort of, experience. But the basics of just taking away the leaves, as Liz was saying, it might sound like it's not the most exciting exercise in the world. But back to that ember cast, those embers, and why the 1/8 is important, is when those embers, similar to this microphone here, when those embers hits here, if the hole is too big, they just pass right through. They pass into your attic, they pass underneath your patios. When they hit small grates like this, they break up. So this ember cast, so separate from the grates, when you have a collection of leaves that are in the corner of your house at your front door, or you have cobwebs, or you have, sleeping bags, or there's a rat's nest that they used from, insulation, for example, outside. Those embers sit there, they smolder, and they catch fire. I know it's not a big thing out here, but I mentioned anyways, rain gutters. That is a huge collection of junk unless they're covered. So again, there are simple, easy things that you can do today that you don't need to go rip out your windows, replace your roof, rip everything out around your 0 to 5. But it's good to know all the sort of things that are expected of you for Firewise. Okay. So basics of Firewise. I can keep going, okay. So we have a minimum of 8 homes. Each home contributes at least 1 hour per year to wildfire mitigation. That needs clearing brush, home hardening, education, workshops. We'll also help you as well with your application. We can help you with your hours. Again, this doesn't, and the hours and the commitment is all self-reporting. I will tell you that it does take someone and a group and a team to actually have this be successful. So it's typically not something that one person can do. Because you need people to do work, you need people to commit to doing things. So if you decide to do this in your community, again, it's not a terrible amount of work, but we use the Firewise exercise when people call our office and say, hey, we want to start a fire safe council, which I'll spare you with what that is. It's what I run. It's a huge undertaking. It's a lot of work, and it takes years to build up. Where Firewise is sort of the first stepping stone. So we always encourage folks to start with Firewise. Again, the benefits of Firewise is the insurance discount, although I already gave that one away. So something to look forward to. There's many different agencies that do fire assessments, and also for Firewise, you would need someone to come out and do a sort of an assessment of your boundary that you create at your home. When I say there's a lot of agencies and groups that do assessments, you have CAL FIRE, you have County Fire, and then you have the Fire Safe Council like ourselves. Everyone uses the same sort of system for doing assessments. I don't say that we're the better one, because we're not. We do the same assessment. It just, I like to throw it out there that the Fire Safe Council is an educational piece. And by the way, so is County Fire, and so is CAL FIRE, so is Morongo. In Morongo, by the way, the Fire Safe Council does the assessments for the fire department. Ours is educational, ours is confidential, ours is a piece of paper that we fill out and we hand over to you. And so you can, the county fire, by the way, I'm sharing all of them. The county fire is called the RAP program, RAP. CAL FIRE, you can go on their website, Ready, Set, Go. You can request an inspection from CAL FIRE. You can request an inspection from County Fire, or you can go to desertfire.org to the Fire Safe Council, and we can do the assessment on your house as well. They take about an hour, and now I'm speaking for the Fire Safe Council. They take about an hour. We walk with the homeowner on the exterior of your house, and we go through these zones, the zone 0, zone 1, zone 2, We don't go inside your home. Talk about best practices, obviously everything that has to do with your home. So again, I didn't want to come here and read a bunch of brochures, read off slides. I believe in questions and dialogue and conversation. If you didn't grab one of these brochures, they're at the front here, and questions.
Oh, good, I get the.
Okay,
On what do the insurance company base their discounts on?
Well,
how did the insurance?
You want to get a discount on your insurance. What are they taking into account in order to give you, you said it's very arbitrary. Here's $10, here's $100, whatever.
I couldn't answer that for you, but I don't work for the insurance companies, and nor does, as I said, the Department of Insurance doesn't mandate that there is a certain discount that they have to give. The way that Title 10 that reads, and you can look this up, it's California Department of Insurance, Title 10. The verbiage is that the carrier has to take into consideration when underwriting your policy that the home is on the fire risk reduction community list or in a Firewise community. Typically what happens and what we see, because we get a lot of calls from homeowners and insurance brokers, because everyone's learning really quick about this over the past few months. Typically what we see is that the insurance company will send a letter back to you and say, do you have a Class A roof? Have you removed all the leaves from your home? Have you installed 1A mesh around your property? Is your zone 0 clear? Sometimes if you're with Safeco, for example, Safeco will actually send out a wildfires mitigation specialist to come to your house and do the inspection. They won't accept the list. There's a lot of bureaucracy, which is why I facetiously said, good luck trying to call with your discount for becoming on the fire reduction community list. The fires becoming a Firewise is a little bit more of a shoe-in to get the discount, but I think, you're entitled to the discount, so why not advocate to get it? Yes.
Two questions, both very quick, and they're related to each other. You mentioned community
Sorry.
several times.
I don't know, this one is not very loud, so you'll have to speak up.
Okay, you mentioned, I have two questions real quick. You mentioned community several times. Okay, does the community refer to, well, what's the scale of the community? Is it 4 to 8 people who are gonna get together to implement a fire safe protocol?
So so community is because that's literally the recognition that you get. So it's called a Firewise recognized community.
So that's the community.
So, but to that point, it's a minimum of 8 homes. And it has to be, like, if we were looking at a map, it has to be something you could draw a circle around in late short term. So can't be one house in Johnson Valley, one in Pioneer Town, one in Wonder Valley. It would need to have some sort of boundary.
So at least 8 homes, and within that group of 8 homes, 4 of those homes have to be contiguous.
Yes, it doesn't have to be continuous, no. And so, as I was saying, if I said 4, I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's a minimum of 8. So anyone that took notes down, 8. So it's a minimum of 8. It doesn't have to be continuous. And as I mentioned too, I think the first question was about the Airbnbs. Say you end up having 40 homes in that circle and only 10 of them sign up, all of those homes get to benefit from the good work that you're doing. So,
okay, just to be clear, so it's 8 homes. So if I have 20 homes, if those 8 homes are within 10 homes, 10 home area, I still qualify.
you do.
Even though even though none of the 8 homes are next to each other.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
On the 0 to 5 foot space, if you have green bushes or trees, should they be removed? And then the second part of that is, what about Joshua trees that are half dead? They have protection. But I have a half dead one. And I'm wondering if they're going to amend that ordinance. I know it's a touchy subject, but I can see that thing as fire hazard. It's dropping dead all the time.
So the first question was, what about green live shrubbery in the 0 to 5? Again, I didn't write the laws, and so my short answer would be yes.
Take it out.
Yes, you would have to take them out. So in 26, which is when CAL FIRE is supposed to be enforcing this, these laws apply to every homeowner in the state of California. Okay, so this is a state ordinance, not a local ordinance. To your second question about Joshua trees, you can apply for a permit to trim the tree if it's dying. That would be you wouldn't have to apply for a permit for all trees, but for Joshua tree, yes, you'd want to trim that.
Oh, it's, is that green bushes, does that count, cactus? Oh, so the only bushes I have are cactus. So does that count? Do I have to take out those cactus?
Right, so the way that the law is written is that anything in your 0 to 5 foot that is again, I'm not a legislator, I didn't create the law, so it's your 0 to 5 foot. You guys can look it up as well, watch YouTube videos. CAL FIRE has them with burn videos. They show homes that have stuff in the 0 to 5 foot, which has nothing. The 0 to 5 foot inspection is probably gonna look like in the videos that you're gonna see. When you see, it's hard scaling. For example, I can tell you that we're working right now with Cal OES and FEMA on a grant for the Morongo Basin. We are in the final stages of the grant approval. We will be mitigating 200 homes. For the 0 to 5 foot area, the project should be shovel ready in 2026. And it will see us going to 200 homes, removing everything in the 0 to 5 foot and replacing it with hardscaping. Yeah.
I just had one more, sorry. Yeah, so if you had, like, when we called you and you came over and, inspected the place and told us what to do, and we did it. Would we then be on a list eventually?
No, so what list are you referring to? Sorry.
I don't know, you said that's our list.
The fire risk reduction community list?
Well,
So I'll make it quick and wrap it up. So for your discounts, you're entitled to a discount if your fire district is San Bernardino County, if you're in services. You're already entitled to a discount. You could call your insurance agent and you could ask them for the fire risk reduction community list discount. Like I said, good luck with that one. The next discount that you could be entitled to is Firewise, if you become a Firewise community. The last discount that you could be entitled to as an individual, if you're not interested or you don't think that you could get 8 homes on board, is you could reach out to your insurance company and say, I have mitigated my property and I believe that my home is protected against wildfire. I would caution you on that. I live in Johnson Valley. Karen Martin is my insurance agent. I've had my insurance with Foremost for the last 5 years. They've renewed me. My insurance has doubled and almost tripled. I continue to pay it because I continue to be covered and insured. I will not call Foremost and tell them, I believe my house is fire secure. Can you please come out and do an inspection? That's just my own personal thing. We don't have a fire department out in Johnson Valley. We don't have fire hydrants out in Johnson Valley. I do not want the insurance companies out at our property. So
don't do it.
Good luck with the problems.
yeah, so on that note, February 12th, in Yucca Valley at our office, we'll be doing a series in every community in the Morongo Basin. Yeah, I'll just finish this real quick. So on February 12th at 6:30 p.m., we're doing a homeowners insurance workshop. We'll have Accusure, Farmers, and State Farm. So we'll have Karen Martin, we'll have Yucca Valley Insurance there, and the Roberts from Allstate. They'll be doing a homeowners insurance workshop at our office. which is right next to Star Market, Yucca Kebab, and we'll be talking about all things homeowners insurance.
What is this?
6:30 PM, February 12th. Yeah. And our website is very complicated to find. It's desertfire.org. And all this information that I spoke to you today is on there. Information about our workshops and meetings, everything is on there. And like I said, if you can't make it on the 12th, we will be doing that at every community center throughout the basin. So if you can't make it to that one, there'll be one coming up. Yes.
Quick question, is there a fee for the assessment that you guys or the various organizations do?
There's no fee. No one should be charging you a fee. The only fee that you will come across for an assessment is through your insurance company. So if they send someone out there, they charge you a fee. It's about $125 to $165 for your insurance company to come out, which might just even mitigate the discount that they give you. But the assessments are completely free.
One last question.
We had one last question. No, he's gonna be available. We just have so much to do this morning that I don't, that we need to, because it's half the meeting, more than half. So thank you, Justin, and
Thank you.
you can see there's a lot of interest, including